So yesterday's one was probably too edgy. I can't help it. It's the sharp in me. I go, oh, that sounds really wrong. Nope, standing by it. Anyway, so yeah, where are we going? We're going to jump back into yesterday. Yesterday was probably a little bit. You know, there's always a way to say something to people. One way actually causes really big meltdown impact. Oh my God, aliens are going to get us. Right? There's that sort of way, or there's a side way of doing it, where I put humans as the aliens and then ask backwards with the question. So that's what we're going to do, because yeah, yesterday's video, I started to go into it and then realized this might scare people. So this is still going to scare you, but it's to help you look backwards without the fear. So to turn off the fear response, I'll go this way. I'm going to go sideways. So, and I'm just talking now just to get myself back into it, because I kind of forgot. Oh, nope, there it is. Right. So let's say that we see a universe or a planet that's evolving. What do we mean by evolving? Well, we can see building blocks of life starting to come. Now, that all depends on how far you go. So let's say humans traverse the planet and move away from it. Woo! And they get loads more resources, yes? Therefore means more capability. More capability means you're able to do more stuff than you are. So anything that you can do on the Earth is little, because you are limited to resources. Right? 101, yeah? So if you traverse the universe, imagine a microscope that is planetary microscope, where you can zoom into the planet down to building blocks of life. Not only that, you can X-ray the planet. You can see all of its layers, compositions, what it has, everything. The core, inside, outside, how much darkness versus light, how much this, how much that, ratios, opaque, opacity, never mind. Anyway, and you can also zoom out to life forms and different things like that, the building blocks that start coming together. You have computers that make even the most advanced computers, hidden and seen computers that are most advanced, dwarf in comparison. And I mean, not even be a postage stamp. If you were to combine them all and stick them on, that's the type of capability that you're using versus you could be using if you had the capability to do so. You don't find it on an Earth. You find it outside the Earth, and perhaps not from one solar system, but multiple solar systems. And you don't build it with robotics. No. You build it with humans and robots, let's say. So you've got certain life forms that will go in many different ways, but you have to ask yourself the question, which one's the wise way to go? So we could look at all of the nations on the planet, yes? So each one is per big nation, per small nation. I'm not doing it per continent. And then we've got a few that are small, right?
Yeah.
Now, yes, you could make robots. That's okay. That's sort of one way to do it. But ask yourself this question. If I was an intelligent life form, and I might not be, but if I was one, and I was looking at other life in the universe, I would ask a question. If I do something and it is half-assed, can something else do something where it isn't half-assed? So we have humans where they might want to wipe out life forms and replace them with robots, right?
Yeah.
And that's slow progress. We understand that that is very slow. Or we could look at other life forms and say, what happens if they decide to expand all of their nations' capacity and get themselves very big and equal up as life forms?
Yeah.
And we expand robotics at the same time. Which one is thinking long-term, thinking numbers, thinking dominance? When we look at the universe and we ask ourselves a question, is the universe keeping all of its eggs in one basket? It goes, God said, the divine, that's a lot of, there's many different, and they're going, you know what, maybe we should just make one star. Yeah, we'll just make one star, we'll just stick that there. All right then, that sounds like a good idea to me. Let's just make one planet. Let's just make one planet with one life forms on it. Yeah, fucking right, go on. Or do you think someone else come in and was like, you know, actually, maybe if we made more, we have different variations and, you know, some are going to be like this and some are going to be like that. You'll hold your one eggs in one basket if you just make one planet, one planetary system. You're going to spend all of your time looking at these life forms that may never progress to anything. Do you see how that's just like, meh? That's, and then could you not be where you're spinning plates instead? On sticks, and there's one balancing and then another, and then you run back to the other and you run back to the other. Now, if it was just one planet, this process that humans would think up, if they were to think it up, let's kill the humans and replace them with robots. I mean, oh, by the way, this does not mean offensiveness, by the way. Can you imagine that, right? If you ever saw anything else with fingers out there, humanoids, and they go like this, that's an act of war. Calm down, ferrets, because what about this being offensive to them? What if this is like doing this in human language? Do you get... And this means hello. But to hear is like, no, ficky, nicky, no. You've got to understand it, that what humans do is not what everything is going to be doing. And, yeah. Anyway, so just remember, different signals are going to be interpreted as different ways of understanding things. What happens if they stick a foot up at you? That could be like saying hello. Maybe they say hello with feet. Maybe they're all feet or all hands. Anyway, so you understand that. So if the universe had only created one Earth, one star, then yeah, this process would work. But it didn't. So that means when you think in one way, it doesn't mean that a parallel alternate version of you is going to think in another way. No, don't worry about the parallel versions. That shit may never influence with you and may never rendezvous. You got to understand it that if there's more, then all of those possibilities of thoughts going in multiple different directions. And after all, numbers mean something. So if you only made one star and it failed, I gotta go to the biome again. Why? Gotta put in another light bulb. Whereas, Shine, that bulb popped. That doesn't matter. There's plenty more over here. Haven't got to keep stopping to restart. So you get more variety. Therefore, more variety means more possibilities, and more possibilities then will lead you towards success. What is that success? Well, it depends on what it's looking for. So, do you understand how wise individuals would want to be at the top of their class? Yeah? Because this, good, lots of numbers. What can you do with a lot of numbers? If this was a wartime scenario, and I don't mean to scare anyone, but let's just look at the way humans behave. If it was a wartime scenario, what is usually the one thing that could work out really well? Knowledge, capability. And what do you need to have knowledge and capability? Well, you need a large population. Let's go back in time. One group of tribes there, one group of tribes over there. They never meet each other. Okay, that's how small it is. There's only going to be so much they can learn. And therefore, what happens if we just have Adam and Eve on the planet and no other humans at all? You're only going to be able to capable of learning just that much, yeah? What happens if you have multiple humans with multiple potential as one another, going off in many different directions, learning multiply different things, and bringing all of this knowledge back? What a canvas for the next generation to pick from, or find another way to add to the already growing knowledge. Which ones are going to be more knowledgeable? And if they understand environment, especially if you understand the solar system, do you know how to destroy it?
Yeah, if you understand something, you know.
If you've got enough of them, enough life forms, plus robotics, plus everything else, versus the ones that want to eliminate each other, which ones are going to actually achieve more? Or the ones that have the capability, the knowledge that's unlocked, and they're utilizing it in a correct way, as opposed to a way that just benefits a few? It doesn't work. It does not work. This process will not work. Why? Because the chances are that other life forms are not doing it the same way you are. And then your whole knowledge of you know best, because I'm going to put it down, let's bow down to humans. You've done well, but you've got a long way to go. And again, then which ones, if they started to expand what they are? They'd understand very quickly that the robots are only capable of learning what humans or humanoids are able to put into it. It's like trying to get it to pick out alternate versions. It may not come to the conclusion that you think. Why? Because you've programmed it to, well, it goes this way. It's going to go like us. It's going to be, you've got to be able to think outside of that box. So if it came to a war strategy, let's say they were hungry for life forms. This one's going to win. This process, not going to win. You can already see this in how many stars there are, cooking up multiple different things in multiple different areas, and then there is multiple different galaxies, learning a different area that in a lifetime, at this present understanding, you can't get from point A to B very quickly. So it's unknown as to what they're doing over there, what's happening over there, what's being created, what elements are being cooked up. Is it the same as here? Doubt it. What are the pressures? What's the gravitational influences? What type of medium is over there? What has been cooked up over there? Hence why black holes come together. It's a beautiful thing. And galaxies come together because it then begins to mix that pot. It's got more of an opportunity from here, and it's more of an opportunity from here. And if these are even slightly different elements here and slightly different elements here, one, the black hole can understand, it's got time to unpick all of that. It's going to unpick it, but it's got to catch up. Star's got a head start. And in with all of that knowledge, that opens up a door for potential. Remember, you have to destroy something. So you have to destroy something in order to create something new in this process. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. The universe recycles in order to create a new variables, multiple. And each time it recycles, there's a new Pandora's box being opened each and every single time. Interesting. So we look at that as life forms 1, life forms 2, and then there are the life forms that don't do anything at all.
Yep.
Well, height is advantage. Being invisible is an advantage. If they can see you from long distances away, which you're in a fixed point, your planet's trajectory is calculated. You can calculate from a distance how that is going to rendezvous around a star based on with its moon. And from an advantage point, you're going to fire out from a particular area. They can get into different areas all the way around you and fire at multiple rendezvous and use the star itself to hit you in every single which but way. You will not win against that. That is game over. You won't even be able to scratch the surface. And it depends on how far away they are versus their capability versus their understanding of your movement. But if you were all out and traversing through the solar system, that's a little bit more trickier. But again, that solar system, that's easier to, that is still, depending on where they are, how far they've learned, have they squandered their time or have they used their time? Are they war-minded or are they not? Are they friends or are they foes? How do you know? Then, if they've come to this solar system or are in other solar systems around that is a bit more further away, their capability, what have they devoured in their path? What have they learnt? What knowledge have they garnered? What understanding do they have? How many star systems have they devoured, been around, or cloaked, hidden from your view? Anything you can do, it is possibly either being done worse or it's being done better. Where do you fit on that spectrum? I wouldn't like to guess. Certain life forms are going to move more forwards. Some are just going to scratch the surface of it and not really do anything. Then we see threat. Then how do they view you in a threat category? We often spend most of our time looking out, trying to understand behavior and everything else whilst looking at each other. That person's a narcissist. Let me see if I can hurt his feelings. Hold on a minute. Narcissist or hurty feelings? Which one do you want? Kind of defeats the object of trying to hurt feelings on a narcissist, really. So either your first assumption was wrong or your second assumption. That's interesting. Do you get what I mean? Right, whilst we're sitting there trying to learn each other, it's great, yeah? But trying to control each other, these things are very easy to control. Try and control other life forms. Try and manipulate them. Try and convince them. See, we're not in a position where we can do that. It doesn't mean that we're risking anything, no, but it means that we're sitting ducks. We're a fucking target. Then if you're traversing your solar system, still, you're a target. Then when you move over to another star system, let's say, a solar system, you are maneuvering this way, and some are maneuvering this way, and some are moving this way. You are not so easy to hit. Then you spread and break again, and you grow the room. It's like Ireland going that way, America going that way, Russia going this way, EU going that way, France going that way, Germany going that way, Australia going that way, and saying, right, okay, we'll meet up in a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to go here and devour this star system and expand what we are. We understand that there is stuff that we can transform that. We can destroy that solar system, but create a new habitat for ourselves. Then that means that there's more for Ireland, is Republic of Ireland, yeah? Or we can say that that's a small nation. It's not the smallest, but still a very small nation. If it had opportunity of a star system, this is very far thinking in this indeed, a star system with planets in it that had the right knowledge, they had the right understanding, so we'll put a question mark there, where they can transform that to grow what they are in numbers, to expand into, wildfire. A few seeds in the pocket, yeah, and grow that, and nature will grow with you, and therefore you will grow with that, and your understanding and capabilities will also grow the same way. They build up. That's an incredibly amount of massive civilization, let's say, that will grow from that, literally a civilization. And then another one's doing it over there and expanding what they are because they've got the capability to do so, and another one is doing it over there, even with robotics, and what they find in the way and what they learn in the way. When you come back and rendezvous, you don't have to come back, but you can have a centralized hub that the information is sent from one to the other, to the other, to the other, for know-how of what we found, what we discovered. When we share this knowledge, we trade knowledge as opposed to trade goods. At the moment, we live in a monetary system, and yet it doesn't work. Money is worthless, it's a belief. Gold is worthless, it's a belief. All of this shit is worthless. It is valuable if you believe it is valuable. But at the end of the day, trade is the number one thing. Why? Because, until currency, let's say, changes into the credit, if I turned up to America with pounds, British pounds, what are they worth? Let's say I took 100 billion British pounds with me to America. What am I in America with that money? Does it have value? Can I go into an American shop and go, yeah, here's 10 pounds. Come on, give me some change. It's not worth anything. But let's say if I go with a load of assets and I turn up at America, I can trade these for cash, or I can trade these for other
Goods.
assets.
Other assets.
Do you see that? That's so money. Money is a control structure that allows people to look more than others and less than others.
Because they collected more.
Back in the day, back before money was even a thing, gold, diamonds, they hadn't had really much of a care for this metal. They did, but they knew how to shape it. Bones were something, they knew how to splice it, make sewing needles from it, knitting needles in some cases, bow and arrow in other cases, even using needles from certain types of plant. Fishing needles, all of this stuff. It was all created in bone. You can make a really decent fishing hook from bone, even a barbed one. You can also do it with hawthorn, buckthorn, even blackberry. So there's not really much of a need for metal, and this stuff, unfortunately, is biodegradable. You can drill down into a Mesolithic structure, where Mesolithics were, hunter-gatherers were in the Mesolithic time, and you can pull it all up, and it just looks like an insignificant piece of nothing that's rotting away, a thorn. But you've just thrown away a fishing hook. Closer scrutiny, when you look at that, does it have any remnants of worm on it? Does it have any remnants of fish on it? Do you get what I mean? Does it have any...
After that time, it
After all of that time, it's really impossible to see it, right? And then how do you not know you haven't spliced through a bone? And even then, how much more deeper have you got to go? See, we only understand so much, and most of the knowledge is completely lost. Lots of it is lost under the ocean.
Yeah.
It's temporarily suspended there. When the plates change, this will all become apparent, and more pieces of puzzle will come. And it might not look like anything you've ever seen before. Depends on how deep it is and how old it is. You'll look at this and be like, wait, what? You mean to tell me that we've been looking at all the stuff on the land? That we've got this stuff here? But the people, they were aliens then. No. It all depends on where you came from. If your ancestors, before a time that you remember, before a massive event happened, they could have come on some spacecraft and looked a little bit different to how you look now, actually quite a lot. And then evolution kicks in. And it sort of stretched them up a little bit and moved them up. And what you dub as coming from primates or reptilians or... reptilians, beautiful. And, you know, what looks like you've evolved on the planet actually looks like you have just brought a load of stuff that's been forgotten in your time. And you've landed here. Then massive events happened that caused you to lose all of this stuff. Massive changes. And then when you look back through history, you're like, well, it must have been fucking aliens or something then. Yes, because you are. Go look in a mirror. What's the difference between you rendezvousing with this planet millennia ago, planting all of this stuff you call food and nature, lost respect for it. Most of it clung to life on a massive cataclysmic event. What you needed, you left. You were too busy trying to run for life. The only way you can really understand this is if the plates change again. Right now, as we speak, ocean water starts piling up across all of the land masses. Other parts start pushing up. Other bits start sinking down. If this were to happen now, you would lose everything.
Yeah, and there are settlements found on the bottom of the sea now and then still, aren't they?
Then these other monuments that would come up, you'd be like, wait, what? Well, you wouldn't, but your ancestors, well, your future generations would be. And a lot of this knowledge would be lost. Again, ice ages. This is a lot of knowledge is lost during ice ages. You'll have no idea that they think it's forever. They're born into it. It's like you being born into hot and cold cycles. You take it for granted. Well, it's always been like this. No, it hasn't. It's been hotter and it's been far colder. Now, when we look at how cold it was, they were carving this shit. They were staining it as well. They made some beautiful ice statues. They are so beautiful. If I could recreate what they had done back then, you would be awestruck. You would be amazed. They were carving into this shit. It was beautiful. They really did make that into a home away from it. Oh man, talk about making the best of a bad situation. They really did. It also created new ways of preserving life after death. In a way, kind of life. The formats of you in ice tombs. And it would appear in your perspective that it's very morbid. We put everything in the ground now or we burn it because the climate has changed and now it doesn't preserve nothing. So it breaks down very quickly. There's been the growth in bacteria. There's the growth in flies. There's the growth in all sorts of weird and wonderful shit now. They didn't have that stuff. That wasn't around. It was suspended, most of it. They had fire. They definitely had a lot of fire. They understood this very well. They also knew how to grow from this. You would think that farming was still done, but done in a very different way to what you see it now. And there was a lot more back-breaking work that needed to be done. But they did it. They got on with it. They were born into it. They knew no different. And when it begins to melt, that's one disheartening sort of situation that they had to deal with. Another thing is when their ancestors began to change. When they thawed out, when they began thawing out, and then bacterium flooding and washing away and erosion started to make them look not quite how they remembered, and it got a little bit scary. They understood what bones were, but not in their own. People became sentimental. That when they died, they went and sat on an ice block, and then they would encourage this to freeze over, and they could still see grandma, great-great-grandma, their lineages. And then this drives, in the mind, mummification. They're trying to recreate what they lost. The introduction of stone. This has happened time and time again here. Where it goes from ice. Ice is easy to carve. Not everything dies in this. Frozen food, anything that is lost in this, any animal that is lost, is basically, it's like you putting them in your freezer. It doesn't taste the best in the world, but if you cook it, well, it supports life. All of this stuff is vast knowledge, and again, we've got a lot of greenery. They would have changed their diet. The diets changed. They didn't have cups of tea like you understood. Pine needles, very good. This made a good drink. They had to thaw a lot of it out and therefore partly cook it. Hence why when you breathe in for barbecue, it smells so good. That comes from there. You ever wonder where it comes from just because you like the smell of cooking flesh? No, it's come from years of this, these changes that happen. Then what gets lost throughout your history is it becomes another question mark of, did you come here and plant everything here and forgot about it? Or did you evolve here? Are you a broken away group? Is your knowledge far older? Do you have pieces in your DNA structure that just don't make sense to hear? Changes with technologies that are no longer understood. You forget things, you relearn things, you then forget. This is the byproduct of planet living. It's so shitty, it's unbelievable. It's easier if you get blown to bits by something in space and you've got remnants everywhere. Okay, there's tragedy in that. But you can get most of the pieces back. And the data, you can restore data from that. It's easier in this way, and it's less likely to happen than it is on a planet. Planets are subject to copious amounts of change. Lots and lots. You are not in control of literally nothing. Whereas if you live in space, you have more control over you don't have to worry about flooding, you don't have to worry about continents, you don't have to worry about volcanoes, and these all play a major role. When we look at Jupiter and we think, where did it get all of its gas from? It must have been a greedy bastard in the beginning. Or it was made of liquid. And a lot of meteorites hit it and caused it to vaporize the gases. You see, we have no technology that is recording this right now. We have nothing. You think of the atmosphere as a tire, halfway inflated. Well, it's a bit spongy, but it's good enough. Keep inflating it. The outer skin of it is the ozone layer, as any other gases. What happens? Well, it doesn't pop. The tire does. The atmosphere just keeps on growing and growing. You can make the Earth into a Jupiter. There is enough water here to separate all of that and keep it so that it stays separate. It will take a long time for that to come back down, depending on what gases get released. Some gases, water is beautiful. It's a very good structure. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy in itself. It is the most beautiful creation next to life itself, is the way that it can be made into steam. It can condense. And then it can be drunk. You can urinate it out. It then goes off. Collection of salt water sweats. You drink the sea sweat. You sweat it back out and give it back to the sea. In this process of exchange, you can boil it. You can use it as fuel. And this will condense back down and goes on to feed nature. Nature takes what it needs, repurifies it back for you. You drink it, and you are also given nutrients that then, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Water is the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's so underrated because it's like, I've been so spoiled with these other drinks I fucking have, man. I really have. And that's the difference between it and other gases, liquids actually. when they come apart and they get converted into a gassy state, they stay in a gassy state.
Mm-hmm.
And when they stay in a gassy state, that causes more problems later on because of the pressure. So you have a lot of pressure building up in the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone unchecked for a long time. One great thing would be that if there could be the creation of nuclear satellites, nuclear-powered satellites that are not only capable of sending a signal, but they can also receive. Nice, I think most satellites do.
Mm-hmm.
But they monitor from a distance, and they're trained to monitor atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Levy Shoemaker 9. One thing I really, it was too late, but still, really wanted to do was measure the atmosphere. After Levy Shoemaker 9 hit into Jupiter, it was all very beautiful and astronomers were looking at the plumes that came out. I was fundamentally asking a question: how much more bigger did that atmosphere get? Now, because Jupiter's so big, it was probably in the nanospectrum, but even still, depending on what that core is and depending on what crashed into it, what was it made of?
Mm-hmm.
Did it separate and cause did it convert something into a liquid? And if it did, even by sending the probes into Jupiter, would contaminate because it vaporizes. In that word, vaporize. Jupiter is a vaporization place. So let's understand it. If we could put oxygen into Jupiter, we could minimize its atmosphere. If we started pumping loads and loads of oxygen into it, or carbon, then that should, with the right pressure, should condense and collapse down for how far away it is from the star. Because you would create water from the hydrogen. And then it should be able to then begin to collapse down, and it should turn into a liquid. The gas, it takes a lot of gas to make a liquid. You can make a lot of gas from liquid. Do you get what I... But because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, that's like medicine there. And that's what sets Earth apart. So if we added, it again with Mars, it's really weird that there's no liquid, with no hydrocarbon is not there. That's an interesting thing. But there is ice. There is ice. There is ice. But it would shock me to understand that there's no liquid. So, that's an interesting thing. So, does it really have that much hydrogen in the atmosphere? I wouldn't have said so. And again with meteorites as well. Meteorites, fucking hell, these things are a fucking pain in the ass. They are really much of a pain in the ass because if they hit anything in your solar system, right? So it hits into Jupiter, yes? Jupiter takes a pummeling.
Mm-hmm.
If it hits one of its moons in the right trajectory, it will then, it will then, it could send those shrapnel towards Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. My hair's all sticking up. I really couldn't care less, to be honest.
I know.
All right, maybe
That's
I will
fine.
because
No, you don't have to.
You got something with it. Anyway, so
No, I don't.
meteorites
Yeah.
that fly around the solar system or asteroids or whatever,
Yeah.
they pose a massive risk. So we have levels of methane here,
Mm-hmm.
but isn't there a planet that also contains methane further out? Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, methane is associated with life. Then we got to ask a question: how big is actually Uranus? How much life was on there?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a byproduct? Is it a life byproduct? Was there life there once?
Yeah.
Well, you have to ask the question if there's methane. It's usually a blueprint of life, a past blueprint of life. So you'd be looking for that on Mars. If there was life there, you want to test how much methane it has. But there again, the atmosphere seems to be leaching. No magnetic field left to hold on to it. Interesting. And no moon. And Phobos and Deimos do not count. They're not enough. You see, the Mars being popped out of its core, if a meteorite hits a moon, this causes instability. And it's, depending on how fast it is, something that hits in very fast and breaks something apart really quickly has a consequence. Even if one hit Mars now and shattered Mars, this would have a knock-on effect for Earth. Earth would feel that. So would Jupiter. and not only in remnants as well. So you would think then, I want to save this for another video, I think, this next bit, so I'm kind of crossing over on a few here. So I want to take this and rub this out, so I want to try and keep on this. So yesterday's one where I don't want to scare too much is related on this bit here. Mm-hmm. Let's go back and we'll revisit that. So let's say if you knew that there was going to be life on a planet that you came across. It wasn't going to cause a problem right now, yeah? Mm-hmm. But there is a chance that they could act like you acted, and you've only got your own past to base it on, yeah? Yeah. So if we understand that early humans were quite destructive towards one another, yes? Mm-hmm. What happens if Earth left the planet too soon? Then they would have taken all of that Star Wars rubbish up into the cosmos, wouldn't they? Yeah. And in via doing that, they would also create this belief system that because they're so hostile, everything else is so hostile, and then they would want to attack before the enemy attacked. And therefore they would start labeling other life forms as enemy, even if they're not, based on we've got to get in there first. Because if you grow in this environment telling yourself this, you create a belief system, and you don't project onto people with words, you project onto people with actions. You judge them based on how you would react. Well, if they're hostile and they've obviously not seen us just yet, let's fuck them up before that. We want their resources. And again, that poses a dangerous question, not only to you, because you don't know their capabilities. Mm-hmm. So that could cause you don't know, you could fire a load of stuff at them and they just miss. And what they've got is far more exceeding yours, and that would be a sign of attack, and therefore they will defend. Whether they would defend in a way that you couldn't penetrate them, their fear might be that you might break through the shield, because they know how to break through shields. So they would perhaps project that on, but they're not looking for the trouble. You might have that nature because you've taught it to yourself, and you might fire at them first. So therefore, their shields would protect them, but they'd think that it's only a matter of time because they might be shield beings. Therefore, they would quickly calculate and project back in a countermeasure that annihilates you. When really, neither side really wanted to do this to each other, but because you've spent a long time projecting onto yourselves and each other, and acting and then believing this behavior, you must always question behavior. Always question everything. That's what you got it for. You know, if we stayed living under Ra, the sun god, mm-hmm. you any time that it had a solar flare, you would think that it was just pissed off and it needed a quick human sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? And then you would then start to not pay attention to early warning signs that it's beginning to die, and you would misread that as Ra is just angry because we did something. It's because we didn't do this correctly. You know, get back over there and start raking the fields quickly. You've got to impress Ra. Mm-hmm. And really, what you should be looking at, because you didn't question nothing, and then when someone goes against the flow and turns around and says, I think it's dying, off with his head. You will be the next sacrifice. This is why Ra could read your mind and knew that you were going against his order. We will sacrifice you. See, Ra? And again, you won't listen to anything because, and then everyone will believe that as well, because they don't like it when people turn around. And whether that's a mixture of jealousy, whether that is a mixture of a little bit of knowing, if it's ruffling your feathers, then there's a reason why it's ruffling your feathers. Because, you know, no one that does that. I know someone once taught me this, and it was a good piece of information to take. Tim, thank you very much. Where he says, like, ooh, you got green hair. And that you wouldn't react to it if you didn't have green hair. Look at your brown hair. Oh, fucking offend me, bitch. Oh, hang on a second. Just let me check with my narcissism a second. Yeah, no, we're good. We're gonna react to that. Do you get it? There's that reaction to it. Why? Because it's true. And then when you go after religion, which you're not going after it, sounds like a horrible thing, but Ra is a religion, right? An old religion. Yeah. if no one questioned it, and this is where religions get very dangerous, they don't allow anyone to question them. Because it's a sign of blasphemy. No, that's a sign of control. What are you hiding then? What are you... I thought you had a solid belief in something. I mean, if you had a solid belief in something, you wouldn't mind who criticizes you. Because the truth would stand. Because God would not like this, yes, but God wanted me to make mistakes. What God said to me, and you, and you, and you, is what's not cool is if you stay grounded on those mistakes. You know, humans can anchor themselves into bad situations. And then someone said that you have to unanchor yourself. Again, there's another story that I got told by the same person, Tim, yes? Where the elephant, it anchored in, and the baby elephant tries to pull from the anchor but can't do it. It's still attached to the same anchor when it's like a really big beastie, and it's attached to a really weak piece of rope in comparison to the elephant. It doesn't bother to pull away at the anchor because it tried when it was younger. So it's not going to try it now because it's convinced itself that that's it. Well, I heard that and I thought, so that means that I can be anchored to something, which I can. Then can I anchor myself to truth? Because you know what the fucking thing is? You can. So when you find something that seems to be fitting, you can anchor yourself to it. And it acts like a little tug or a docking station or a mooring anchor point. And then you can stay focused in on that. And then, again, you gotta assess where the anchor point is. If you've managed to pull it out and break free from a self-limiting belief, yeah, then the break free is something, or breakthrough is a massive commending. But no one ever tells you that if you've broken it, you can tie a better chain around it, and then you can then become choosing where you want to anchor that. Oh, I want to put that here, actually. Yeah, this would be better if it was more here. Not perfect, but I'd rather be anchored to this than that. And with behavior, it's hard to change a behavior unless you've got a new behavior to anchor to. Do you appreciate that all the same? Do you get that? That anchoring where you can tether yourself to certain things? But the thing is, you've got to be able to question what you've anchored. And if you've done it once before, you can do it again. But that would mean you'd have to be a hypocrite. Because if you've anchored yourself to a bad belief, and you can snap that off, let's say, or pull out the anchor, like the elephant would then have a mighty pull on that. And say, oh, fucking hell, it was weak. What am I going to do now? Well, if you stay in that hesitation too much, the person that anchored you to that is going to come back and go, there's a stronger one now. Can't hesitate. You've got to find, you've got to take that. No, it's mine. Fuck off. That's your anchor, not yours. It's mine. Now I can choose to tether that to something. But again, you've got to be able to question what you've tethered it to. Is this sturdy? Is this good enough? Is this suffice? I don't know. You've got to be able to be a hypocrite and then criticize it. All right, that's probably not quite that degree I want it in. Maybe a bit more over here. No, maybe I liked it here. No, I was right. It was good here. You've got to be able to sort of have that ability. Anyway, so what was we talking about? Oh, yes, life forms. So if you saw, with capability, loads of life forms on a particular planet starting to build up, and you had all that capability, would you come down to the Earth and maybe plant some things in it?
Yeah.
Because if these life forms are anything like your past, I know, do you remember how we used to be? Look at all of these textbooks. Yeah. Battle, destruction, controlling, monopoly, freedom, space, success. Yeah, I get your point. Maybe we should go down there, just in case. What if they skip all of this chapter in this history book, keep the evil bastard, and go straight out into space? Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that might not be good. Maybe we ought to do something about that, just in case. What should we put in to their planet then? Their donut, sorry. Would you fix something in there?
Would I?
Would you put something in there
Yeah.
that could stop them?
Yeah.
There might not be a problem, but you'd need to track them. What if you were able to make avatars? You've come a long way. You are able to... You understand what a soul is. The raw essence that makes you you. And then you understand that the body is just meh. It's just a tool. But you could replace the tool. Bit like Russia doing head transplants. I mean, fucking fascinating. It's got to start somewhere, I suppose. But could you imagine that, putting an old head on a new body?
Yeah.
I mean, being successful with that, and it can then begin to operate. I mean, that's fascinating. It's somewhat morbid, but it's also very fascinating. I can look past all of that shit and think, where could that have potential to head? No pun. Yeah, there was a pun. Where could that head? You know, here in this country, we sit here listening about the Queen's head, the King's head. It's all about beheading. Russia were like, wonder if we could take that head and stick it on another body. And it actually worked. It's like, fuck, you know, we've been taking them off all this time. But you're a bit late to the party. This is like really back in our history. You haven't figured out a way to bring back people? No. Okay, fair enough. One step at a time, I suppose. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, so here it's all about beheading, and everywhere else it's all about... I wonder if I can take that head and move it off of that. Do you see where your attention is, really? Which is fascinating. That is very fascinating. Now, imagine if you were able to take that up a step, and then you're like, fucking hell, there's a soul. Something happens at fucking death, man. It's like the person turned around and stepped out of themselves. What the fuck? And you were able to understand what that is. If you don't look, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that you're ignorant to it. That's all. For whatever reason. Because if you've gone scientific and no longer religious, and then perhaps somebody dies and an essence leaves the body, that would make you look rather foolish, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So then you're like, fuck, well, we spent all of this time moving over to this. Maybe we should just hide it. Brush it under the carpet. Oh, but come on, that's fucking science. Nah, that smells like collapse to me. Do you see where you've got to be able to be a hypocrite? And making a system that is transparent, and this is why I like Kennedy so much, because it was that transparency. How can I adjust my course as a democratic party if I can't see where I'm going wrong? Which, again, this causes you to get voted in and voted in and voted in. I mean, 3 terms and you're out. Fucking hell, man. That's brutal shit, that is. That's brutal. I understand that goes like that. But again, if something was to be voted in over and over and it seems to work, that opens up Pandora's box for any party then. Do you want to join us? We'll make a coalition. All right, then. All right, let's keep this going then. So any new formulated government that were to organise any other government would have to work in a principle where they're cool to get things wrong. Number 1, we are going to fuck things up. But rest assured, we will rectify immediately. Name me throughout history one fucking empire that went, yeah, come on guys, we fucked it up. Yeah, you're right, we got it wrong. We're going to sort it. Just name me one that has ever done that.
Never heard about that.
That is interesting. So these people are fucking geniuses then. But geniuses get things wrong. They get a lot wrong to get certain things right. Not one fucking empire. The nearest thing that we ever get to something's not going right, they're fucking in denial to it. Well, let's vote them out and vote someone else in. Fucking hell, man. That is fucking really weird, man. Or is it more like, you know, we'll just sort of pretend that it wasn't that way, and then after the next generation of kids are here, we will move over to it. Then we never needed to admit it. It's a bit religiously, right?
Yeah.
Again, don't want to ever get anything wrong. That book is exactly it. That to me looks like the wet pages. You mean to tell me that God came down and wrote that all in that time? Fucking hell. Well, I guess he did create the universe in 7 days. It actually took a lot longer than that, but still, it took a lot longer than that to create a fucking self-fulfilling prophecy, but still, fucking 7 days. God, pressure's on now, innit? Shit, 7 days, fucking hell. Are you sure? Took 7 days to make something that is not perfect, but it works. And life forms that are not perfect, but most of them do. That in 7 days? No. No. How many years you been around for? You know what I mean? Like, how much fuck-ups have you made? A lot? That's why it should continue. It should adjust, evolve. I'm not bad-mouthing religion, although it sounds like I am. No, I've put the flaw in it, the system, that it needs to be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
I see Kennedy over there, but I'm just going to go quickly stand there. Transparent.
Mm-hmm.
This would be an evolving religion. Is it right? Don't know. We're still adjusting it. It's a work in progress. If not, we'd still be making sacrifices and shit. Because if not, then theirs has got to be correct, and then these ones have got to be correct, and the ones in the past have got to be correct, and we can end up getting anchored and tethered into a belief system that just ain't it. Spiritualism, we're going to read a card. Yeah, but how do you know those cards are all correct?
Yeah.
Well, because this stack has been around for thousands of years. Just because it's been around for a very long time doesn't mean that it's correct. What happens if knowledge changes overnight and everybody stops believing in that shit and find new stuff to believe in that's more empowering? What happens to those cards? They become obsolete just like that. Or they evolve. Well, we've still got the old template to go on. Can we not just add modern stuff to it? Why, yes, we fucking can. Do you see? So if it adjusts and it evolves, because you are evolving, so religion should be evolving, belief should be evolving, nations should be evolving, then it's only right that everything should evolve then, shouldn't it?
Right.
Science should be evolving. Religion is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding evolves. So what happens if you're able to make avatars? So you can come to Earth and scoop up a load of animals, take them back with you, and make absolute perfect replicas, but with a difference. You're able to see through their eyes on a computer screen, and then release them back into the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that if humans, they would. If humans could do this with a capability, would you go and release them on a planet where life is beginning to take form? And no matter how these things evolve, because you've worked out what you're able to connect into these and see through their eyes, like little cameras.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, it seems like science fiction until you maneuver. If I went back in time and was like, yo, hey, Pharaoh, come here. Do you know in the future they're going to be able to make these little glass polishy things called phones? And it is going to have an ear like a human in it, called a microphone. And it's also going to have an eye that's called a camera. And I'm going to be able to stand here, look at it, talk into it, and it is going to send an invisible signal that you can't see with your eyes. You can't feel it with your body. And you most certainly cannot hear it. And it's going to send it through the fucking ether, all the way around the other side of the world. By the way, there is other parts of the world. To another device where someone can watch with their eye and see me standing right here saying all of this stuff and send it to another device to someone else at the other end of the planet. Wait, what? Let me give you another idea. Did you know that I could take one of these devices and come down here and film all of what you lot are doing? And this is sending an invisible bit of information up to a satellite, and it's going up to a mothership. Wait, what? Yeah, look, come and get a selfie with me. Come here. Could you imagine if a life forms ever existed and went and got selfies with the builders of the pyramids? Whole catalogues of just pictures. And they came down with certain types of wristwatches, which might have been a smartwatch, and the ancients drew this into stone. And not only could you see through their eyes, hear with their ears. Because, I mean, if you had that technology back then, I don't think how much it's grown. And that stuff back then, primitive, mate, primitive. We brought you past, we were in a phase of, what do we call that? Where it's, what do you call it when it's older? Retro. We were going through a retro moment where we were digging through like technologies just because you could. And you were looking through it and going, yeah, I want one of these. They're fucking dated, mate. Yeah, I can make it work. I want it. And I want one of these as well. We're having retro fashion day. Then we come down and see the Egyptians and be like, yo, what's going on? What's happening here? You want to tell us what you're doing? What are you doing? Nothing. Sending all of that data up. Could you imagine if they had translators? Just speak into this. Just talk. Okay. And then it speaks back to them in their language. Fucking hell, that would be weird, wouldn't it? That would be very fucking strange, wouldn't it? I don't know who it would be strange to. Fucking other life forms that aren't too bad. Would you then, before that time, put in loads of structures that look like trees or everyday shit? But actually just little fucking antennas and spy devices just dotted around your world that are going to just grow with time. In actual fact, when we say grow, it's actually a very clever robotic. That starts off small and gets bigger, and then is able to recreate itself from, I don't know, the fabric of your existence, and it looks like a plant, but it's not. And wait, another one grows. And these are just like little seeing devices, little grains of sand thrown in over there, but they're actually just like little listening devices. And then you've ground them up and put them into bricks and shit. Anyway, it seems far-fetched, but would you do it? That's the question. And then, what you've grown into, you can't tell the difference between what was already on the earth versus what is not normal. Because you've grown up on the earth and someone held up this and said, this is tissue. I like this bit. This is a pen. Yeah, that's one of our devices. Come on. And you would think that it was natural, and then someone would build a whole archive around it as to what it is. And that would be a surreal experience to watch that. Them say they know what it is, but not pay any attention to it, and it just becomes everyday noise, like in the background of everything. And you've been waltzing around these. What about life forms? Being able to make life grow into itself. So it mimics what is already being done on the earth. So it just blends straight in. Certain types of animals. Actually, they're just fucking advanced. Really super advanced bots. If you could make this stuff as humans, and you knew that there were going to be life forms coming together on there, and you throw these ones into the mix, You could eat it, you could maneuver with it, you could make it fucking into clothing if you wanted. Thing is, it would look like the real deal and respond to you. And you see, reality is so much more barbaric. Could you imagine if science kept going with making up meat? And they're making meat in labs, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being able to do that with an animal
Mm-hmm.
that was 100% controlled.
Mm-hmm.
It was a remote control device that could send signals out that was recording and listening to everything you did. But it looked like it was nothing. Let's say a bird.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a bird. Yeah, look at its guts and its anatomy. But it was actually created, artificially created, but in a very... Would you do that? Would you even stick a moon around the planet and make it look like another object, but actually, oh, it's just the moon? And actually, it's a spy device. It's watching you, right? Let's just imagine, not saying it is with the moon or anything like that, but you could create this.
Yeah.
What if it had capabilities in it that you wouldn't understand it because it's way out of your thought pattern? See, what humans think is in this. Anything outside of that is fiction or science fiction. Anything outside of that means nothing to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you focus on is everything inside here.
Yeah.
Everything in this.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's outside of that, And then if you're born into this, where you're viewing this stuff as you've then labeled as natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you could have a moon. Or could it watch over you?
Yeah.
Could it watch you?
Mm-hmm.
See what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be a time where satellites can hear what you're saying from space? It wouldn't hear you in the conventional sense, but you may be able to reverberate the atoms around you, and it would look at those and notice how they move to certain sounds to know what is being said. Because everything is jostling. When you talk, it's vibration. It isn't just vibrating into objects around you. No, and into your ears. No, it's bouncing between atoms. If we say that this is empty atom space here, and molecules and stuff. But as you speak, you are influencing these. You are moving these. These are reacting to the sound. And in a graph, this will show you what the sounds are based on that jostling. If you can get down to that point, zoom into it, isolate it, and you wouldn't actually need to hear it with a microphone. You would hear it via seeing it. Sight is sound and sound is sight. It's really weird, isn't it? So talking, another way to bring this out is if you talk and you've got a microphone, but rather than connecting speakers, you connect a bulb into it instead. You'll notice that the pattern intensifies for what you're saying. And then this, if you study it well enough, you can then get to understand what people are saying based on flickering of light. And then sound becomes light, and also light becomes sound. It's a very strange thing, to be honest. And yeah, would you find that would be in the fiction range? Do you think that that's possible? That hey, it doesn't really matter, really, to be honest. It's where you rest your capability, and then how much time would it take to make something like that? And if you've been around for this much time, universe is actually this much older. Other life forms have been around for a very long time. Could they have gone and dotted around loads of these satellites? Hence what you call them, satellites. And they just monitor potential hotspots. Notice all changes. What more could you do with a moon like that if you orbited it? Could you influence tide? Could you influence events? Could you influence plate tectonics? Do you get that the capabilities on that, once you think down that rabbit hole, it doesn't stop? And you would look at it and not know what it was, because it wouldn't be done with nice soft edges like you. Maybe it wouldn't be built the same way you built it. So it would look alien in nature. It would look so bizarre, and you would call it natural. Well, it formed like this, and it formed like that, and it came because it was made by the universe, and then this happened, and all of these gases came together, which then created this, and this. Do you see how you would stick a whole narrative to it, an actual fact, unless someone came and said, actually, watch what we can do with this when I press this button. And then something transpires on the planet. I can also do this as well. Then you'll be like, the shit? 20% would be absolutely adamant that it's not happening, it's all fucking whatever. 80% would be like, fucking teach me how? I'm willing to learn something new. Yeah, but in order to learn something new, the old version of your knowledge has to die in order for you to make room for something new. You know, you got to destroy a moon, and the moon, as it's known, Luna would have to die in order for you to create something that was another Earth, another platform. It has to go. The Earth. Let's say every human leaves the Earth. You would have to destroy it and then transform that destruction into creation and then create a more stable Earth. So the Earth as it is right now is a default setting. Waves, fucking atmospheric pressure, again, never gets looked at, but you know, it will. It's also responsible for heat fluctuations and everything else. And you look at your star and think, man, it's good, but a default setting, it don't send a lot of fucking destruction our way. But if you were to destroy one and destroy the other, so let's say the star and the Earth, and let's say the moon as well, and you were to destroy it in that destruction, if you do it like that, could you then create your own version of a star that is stable, longer living, I don't want to say controlled, but tempered? Well, I guess that works with stable as well. Produces the right amount of heat, the right sort of light. How much more successful would you be? Now, let's say if we took the remnants of the planet and the moon, and you were to destroy it, this no more. So technically, it's a death, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But in death, there's creation. Always, 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 always. In that dark moment of this destruction, there is light.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's say if you could create a planet that orbits around, a bit like the core, in multiple directions. I'm just going to draw this as a 2D as opposed to bring it all the way around. Can you grow? Are your crops safe? Are you safe? What's more, can you move it? Does this have movement? Can you take it with you to another star system? Oui. This, as it is, standardized, you're staying in this fixed location. Maybe you can move the sun, maybe you can't. Who knows? It seems like a lot of pain in the ass to do so. Can you expand with this? And then when we look at it as solar system, so we could just put Sol, that's all I'm going to do. And we take the whole solar system, Jupiter and everything else, and you include it into this. Maybe we make loads. Who knows? Let's just draw it a little bit bigger. This is Jupiter, the solar system in this. Are your crops safe? No more flooding. Well, unless it accidentally happens, but again, once you've perfected it, how many times would it really flood? Probably wouldn't. You would have safe, I don't know. You had a massive flood come in, there's not really a lot you can do about it on the planet. If something malfunctioned, you can build it so that if that happens, this will drain it away and it won't damage the crop.
Mhm.
If you've got more crops that are guaranteed, does life get bigger?
Yeah.
Do you have room to park things on top? Especially if you utilize it in a very good way. Utilize the space in such a way that it makes sense. You know, a bit like caravans, but not as small as caravans. How much of the earth do we actually use? What? The crust. That's it.
Mhm.
So humans, in comparison, are only using what? I don't know. Sure, how much are you actually using? If we include skyscrapers, but there again, that's also equivalent to mountains do the same. Of the Earth, the whole diameter of the Earth, how much are humans actually using? How, what, like something like this in certain areas?
Yeah.
What is that in percentage? 15%. Give or take, it's about 15%, I think. I think it could even be 0.15% actually, because you are occupying some of the sky. 0.15% of the Earth is utilized on humans alone. That's it, and animals and life forms and everything else. What? The crust. What about underground? Well, not really, because it depends where you are. Is it wet? If you dig down, do you see water? Yes. That's problematic. That prevents you from using a lot. If you made your own in this particular style, can you utilize more?
Yeah.
Well, if you can get this many humans, what is it, around 9 billion
Mhm.
on this much? And don't forget, there's a lot of ocean in that as well. You can get 9 billion in that. How much could you get if you could build something with multiple crusts? That's double, quadruple, and then if you made 2 of those, fucking hell, man. These numbers start getting mad, right? And then you begin to expand what you are. Then there's more of you to venture off. How long would it take you for 1% of your population to reach the nearest stars? And if only 1% of you, being, let's say, the elites leave or something, it won't work, it will fail. Because there's a lot of things that could go wrong. And that would only allow you to get like a small amount because there wouldn't be that much capability. Yes, you'd have robotics, but if you've got the rest of your 99%, 98% left behind. But then if you were able to go in multiple directions, like a star explosion, one goes to a star system here, one goes to a star system here, another one goes to a star system here and here. How much more can you get? Then depending on how big that star system is, on the time it takes for you to journey, let's say that folding space was a thing, yeah? So it wouldn't take you very long to get here. But if it was just one of you, 1%, it's going to take you X amount of time to devour all of that, which just is not feasible. And then you have to bounce over to this one and then devour that. Again, just going out and devouring star systems is never a good idea because it sends the biggest fucking light pulse to everything else in the vicinity. You're best off cloak it. Did anyone notice that? No? Good. If you were to cloak this, you could devour it in secrecy. And then you wouldn't be alerting anyone to your presence. If you just started going near the star and started flickering large pieces of metal, this is going to start sending pulses out. And anything with good or bad intentions is going to see it and be curious as to what that is because it's really standing out. Nothing else seems to be doing that. Yeah, I think we'll go over there. And then it depends on their capabilities of how quick they'll get there. Probably don't want to leave paper trails like that until your numbers are up.
Mhm.
So on Earth, you are limited a lot. You have instability as opposed to stability. It doesn't last. There's a time limit. This one lasts longer. So, and can it be changed? I mean, the sun starts to flicker out. Fuck, what are we gonna do? Well, let's just change it for another one. Wait, what did you just say? This ain't a fucking car. It's not a flat fucking tire. It's a fucking star. If you make your own, could you change it out? Well, yes, you'd make it so that you could change it out. Fucking let go of that. Have we got enough? Yeah, we can make some more. Come on. So you can swap this out. We can change it every time it's not working anymore. Well, we'll just get some fucking more then, won't we? And then you could time how long that is going to last. Figuring it out to keep it going wouldn't be a bad thing. Finding a way to knock out what it's utilized as fuel, and can we feed it a bit more while knocking out the stuff? And can we make use of its junk while putting in more stuff, and therefore we don't need to switch it out. We just find a way to keep that star going.
Yeah.
It'd be great if you could use a black hole and a star
Mhm.
and make one go from one to the other, but you might need a few, not just two. You're going to need more than that. So when one is utilized, it's into the black hole, it defuses and then pop and then start the fusion process off again. That would be interesting. Neutrinos, fascinating. Anyway, and you can control the heat, whereas this one you can't. The light you can control, this one you really can't. The pressure you can control.
Mhm.
On Earth, it's much harder to do so. It's good to train with it, where you're converting liquids into gases. If it's water, it doesn't matter too much because the stuff can condense down and you can collect this and it goes back into water. That's no problem. You just need to temporarily be able to take the pressure out.
Mhm.
And even with heating and cooling, this helps as well with that. And you can remove the pressure and, so you're not losing any gases. You're just allowing for it to expand so that it doesn't expand into a ratio that causes it to pop open. No, you want to let that expand into something so it doesn't over pressurize it.
Mhm.
Which then doesn't cause you to, when it starts depressurizing, fucking hell, man, I think I need to go in a pressure chamber. I think I've got some sort of sickness. I felt like I just come out of fucking water really quickly. You will be surprised that gas is exactly the same as water, but it's just a bit more let go. Water's a bit more fucking pushed together, pressurized. So they kind of behave the same. Waves, wind. Strong waves, strong wind. Small waves, a little bit of wind. Wind is, if you could see wind, it behaves like waves. There you are. There's something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar, not the same, but very similar.
Mhm.
And space? Heh, that's like none. You might as well just say that's not anything. Once that last breeze comes away from you, that's the end. When it separates, the moisture separates. It makes a breeze. Interesting, even though space is supposed to be a vacuum. But when it's sucking something out, almost like it breathes. Yeah, so this fucking interesting. Where would you rather be? Play a Monopoly or this? And the problem is with this, it's trade. That's the thing. People will go back to trade. I give you an example, right? So if I come and I go to space and I bring a load of resources back with me, and somebody else does, and someone 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 else does, every human working for themselves, right? Just fucking mining and perhaps making robots do it as well, and the kids are doing this, right? I'd be living, but in a very different way. And you bring back all of these resources, and then someone's sitting there with a big fat wad of cash and goes, I'll buy this off of you. What am I going to do with that money? Well, it's money. Come on, it's got fucking my head on it. Take it. I don't think I want it. What about some digital currency then? Imaginary zero. No, you're all right, thanks. You keep it. Wait, what? That's blasphemy. I know. Here's an idea. How about you get in a machine and go and get some of that shit from over there, and then I'll swap it for whatever you brought back. Here, look, I'll barter you some fucking sand. What do I want some sand for? It's abundant. Oh, okay then. Well, I got some metal in here. You want some of this? Yes, actually, I do. Okay. What will I trade you in? Do you want some sand for it? Why don't I want your sand? I got loads. I'll tell you what. Since you haven't got this, this, and this, I'll make that for you because I'm good at making it. All right, I'm listening. And we'll swap it for this metal? Yeah, all right then. Fucking, okay then. Are you sure you don't want this money? Yeah, you're all right. What about a diamond? Would you like a diamond? Nah, you're all right, thanks.
Maybe
Maybe
for
we should put a light
grinding
in it.
something.
Maybe for fucking grinding.
Yeah, for
Do you think I'm
digging
going to be going through space grinding shit?
digging something from some. But that wouldn't cost that much, would it? Like a tool, not like a jewel, I mean. Diamond as a tool for, when you make the tunnels.
I ain't got no time for fucking grinding.
Well, then no grinding.
Are we blowing up this one? Yes, we are. Everybody clear? Yes, we're all accounted for. Sit the robots. All right. Bring a whole new meaning to the game, badminton. We're gonna collect these shit in the net and slow it down. Don't fucking grind that shit. You want me digging in a tunnel? No, that is so earthling. That is.
Okay,
That's
then.
so 1950. Do I look like a coal miner to you? No, you don't. Nor do you. Wonderful. Let's control this explosion. We'll wrap it up, make it explode so we fracture it but keep it together. Usually, if we look at Miranda, that's usually what happens. Now, how do we make that smaller and still come together? Fucking a diamond to drill into that? No, diamonds are far too precious in museums. Don't you think? In museums, that's where it'll be.
Yeah, or in kaleidoscope
I'd put it in a
game.
light.
Kaleidoscope game, the one you put to your eye and just.
No, I'd put it in a light. It would fucking base my light. That looks good. Can you imagine that? Your whole fucking space fleet fucking full of diamond lights. Yeah, that's very pretty, isn't it? Yes. Yes, there was once a time when kings used to wear these on their crowns. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, we have one in museum.
What, a crown?
Yeah.
Of diamonds?
Wouldn't they? It wouldn't be very precious, but it would be in museum maybe.
I'm surprised you didn't recycle it.
Oh.
Why do you keep it in a museum? You don't recycle it? They haven't made like a fucking disco light?
Okay, maybe they won't have museums. I don't know.
This was once worn by the head of someone. Yeah, so was this hat. Do you want to put it in a museum?
Maybe
And then we have some
if
people
they
go
don't
around
have
and go, that's a
if
lovely
they
hat.
if they don't have them anymore, maybe as a just to show people how things looked.
Yeah, I don't know if I want crystals. Not really. Maybe I do, but not really. No, they're abundant. I'll trade you a diamond. Now we just found loads over there. Now we're good. In fact, we found more than money. Actually, in fact, did you want some? You look like you could do with a few more. Now everyone's getting married. Yes. Wait a minute. You're a guy and I'm a guy. Did I just give you those diamonds? Does that prove how much I love you?
Do you?
Well, I thought that's what diamonds were about. Is prove how much you love someone.
I don't know.
What a weird emotion to try and cash in on.
Yeah. It
So
is.
we've cashed in on sadness, depression, love. What else is left? Narcissism. Fucking right, mate. That is profitable. Oh, therapist for you. Come on. Is there any other emotion we've missed out? What about the temples? I got something for you.
Yeah, people used to give
Sound.
rich ones. People used
Sound.
to
We've cashed
give
in on sound. Sight. Light. Oh, fucking hell. All of these emotions.
Yeah.
I know one that we could make. A tickle machine. Oh no, that creates laughter. Yeah, we don't cash in on laughter.
Yes, you do.
On what? What, comedians?
Yeah, they make money on that, don't they?
But is it funny though?
comedy films, comedians different in different countries depending
I
on the
stand
style of
corrected.
humor.
Yes, they have cashed in on laughter as well and
Yeah.
sadness. Yeah, we've done
Yeah,
sadness.
yeah. Romantic films like where people are crying.
What about hatred? Yeah, this pays cops.
Yeah, and that goes for war as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, make
Fucking
people
hell.
hate another ones and then send them to war. Eh?
Do you have any more emotions in there?
Fear?
Yeah.
Fear as
Fear,
well.
Fear is another one we cashed in on that. Fucking hell. Cool, next thing we're going to be charging for sex.
How about hope? Hope is probably one that's not. No, you give people hope in a religion, don't
Yeah,
you?
and then
Yeah.
you might need to make a donation.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's cashed in on.
yeah. So that one too. Then I don't
The
know.
unknown? Mystery. Well, I don't know, that kind of borderline's fear. Now we're making subcategories.
Mystery.
I'll have a swig on this while we're here.
I don't know.
Excitement.
Yeah,
Depression.
yeah,
Anxiety.
yeah. That is in tablets, that one, isn't it?
Bloody hell.
Everything.
What about fun? What about creativity? Ah. Oh, there's a fucking thorn in your side.
Creativity. Oh.
Well, you need to get some stuff to create with.
Yeah, that one is harder, isn't it?
Yeah, because kids are just born with it, aren't they?
Yeah, but yeah, shops are charging a lot for if you want some crayons, felt tips and stuff like that. It's kind of so yeah, in different way.
Smells. Taste.
Smells, perfumes, taste.
Candy,
Gordon Ramsay and
stuff
people like
this.
that, and candy, and yeah.
Sweat. It's not an emotion, but still. Oh,
That's with smell.
oh you smell so bad. What? I was trying to go for a natural look. I thought you said you love natural. There, I have a limit on natural, my friend. Are you sure? Yeah, here, take some of this. This has got otter's piss in it. I'd rather you smell like otter's piss than your natural stuff. Alright then. I don't know if people wear it like that, but still, maybe it is a... Alright, yeah, no, that's good. Urine, yes. Yes, that's cashed in on as well, isn't it? Fucking hell, Anglian Water took that to the next level. We're also going to charge you for water that hits your roof.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell, they're going to start charging you for space. Fucking hell. Yeah, look at this empty space here. Do I see £40,000? Do I see £100,000? All going at £100,000. Anybody else? Sold. You just bought nothing. Yeah. There's something in that nothing, but still, do you want to fill it? Fucking hell, real estate. They won't be selling houses. They'll be selling nothing. Come on.
Well, you are paying council tax for the space based on the size of the property, so you are paying for space.
So we'll have to pay a space tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's just when it will fall down. All of that shit will just no longer be a thing. They'll try. They will try. Bless them. They will try. But I don't think it's going to get very far, to be fair. Anyway, we went really far off topic, but I like the tandems. I do.
Yeah.
Let's leave this one here, because we'll move on to another, and then that's going to be my it for today. And I think... But yeah, no, so that was it. Sideways approach. If you were human before... Not human. If you were humans that were space-bound, and that you were all the way advanced quite a bit, and you understood you took making meat to the next level, you could actually make blank avatars. We just made a human. Does it speak? No. Does it do anything? Not really. We took it from Frankenstein. Fucking hell, you have been busy all these years. And, so we don't have to wait for electricity anymore. Actually, it was lightning strike. And you could make these avatars in any shape or format. And you saw that life forms were already beginning on a particular planet, and you were like, can I make a hybrid sort of animal-y type thing? Yes. Can we make it so that the animal and hybrid come together with this technology, and as it's created in the womb, we can pop this in, and this is going to grow off the mineral content of the animal as it expands, and it's going to be like a little looking glass and a little camera and microphone, or maybe whatever else it may be. Can I put a satellite around a planet and function the world from mothership? Maybe just a view. Maybe I'll update it. Could you do any of that shit? If you could do any of that shit, and you could see, then you would understand that life forms that start erupting on a planet. There's a sort of telltale sign. Would you lace the planet with lots of backup, self-defense mechanisms, spy gear, just so you could observe it? And these people, that may be people or humanoids or animal-bornoids or whatever it may be, then start running around through forests and shit with sticks. Would you keep an eye on them? And then they start to grow, and would you then start to have war rooms and think, shit me, that's a hell of a risk. If that ever leaves the planet, they got a potential to be a pain in our ass. The answer is yes, because look at humanity now. You would do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You definitely would. But there again, speed of light with the signal. And then they'd have to make an instrument that was capable of intercepting that signal, but they would need to know what type of signal you were sending in order to be able to backward engineer it. And secondly, they'd have to see it, and what could seem as magnetism, or heliopause, or sun's magnetic field could be like, wow, this is all natural. See, the sun creates a magnetic field because of la-di-da-di-blah, but actually it's really just sending a massive fucking signal that you've just looked at and think, well, it's natural. Because you don't question anything, yes? Mm-hmm. Well, you don't really, do you? You wouldn't question that. Is it that, or is it this? You're mental. Yes, I am. Yes, I fucking am. It's got to start somewhere, I guess. That ship sailed a long time ago. But yeah, would you monitor that? Let's say if you were leader of a fleet. Or it wouldn't be a leader of a fleet. It would be everyone leading. It's very noisy, but it's very poetic. If everyone had to cast a vote and it was true democracy with the iron fist ratio reigning, and everyone was just like, hold up a blue card if it means yes, and hold up a red card if it means no. Do we watch these fuckers? Everyone holds up a blue card. All right, it's done. What color card would you hold up? The blue or the red? Do we watch this planet for potential life? It looks like it's going to be rising up. Would you hold up the blue card or you hold up the red card? Red is no, blue is yes.
Okay, then blue.
You go blue.
Yeah. Watch you? I don't know.
Why would you pick the blue card?
To see what's happening.
Where would you get that information from as to why would you need to see what's happening? Because you know where you came from. Well, what made you pick that blue card just then? Was it because of what I said, or was it because of how humanity has been?
I would be curious.
Just curiosity.
How it moves, yeah, how it goes.
Now, maybe you don't want to cause any problems for anyone. You don't want to cause a problem for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah, while we're on planets, we're sitting ducks. Always sitting ducks. We're just waiting for the next Armageddon to happen. And again, if a meteorite hits certain things, well, it has a knock-on effect. A lot of it has a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
If it hits the star, it causes colossal damage. Depends which way it comes from.
Yeah.
Or at least if you see a star explode in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've been see enough stars explode, you'll understand that there's some big hunks come out of that. And yes, the distance that you are away, it does begin to go off in multiple directions. Yes, absolutely. But still, you've still got one that's on a trajectory towards you. Now, it doesn't have to hit your planet. It can come nearby it. And it can also move your planet if it hits in the right sort of angle. Comets, meteorites, asteroids, whatever you want to call them, they move planets.
Yeah.
If it hits the Earth and it hits on the landmass, not that bad. Not really, and it is and it isn't. It's hard to explain it. it's still going to do a lot of damage. But if it hits the ocean, puffs up your atmosphere temporarily. Nothing survives that. And you're a water world after all.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, fuck that. Fuck that. It's not slow enough for evolution to be able to write that.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Gee me, that would be something. Anyway, and I suppose that could let certain things come out, which would be the depths of the ocean. Those types of critters would be able to come up a little bit more and rectify and get the same amount of pressure. That's an interesting thing.
Maybe that's why they are there.
Means to an end, Petra. Means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
You would often think that something has looked at the planet and have gone, what if this happens? But that's a lot of knowing then, isn't it? Then we're looking at human evolution. And then what about planetary evolution? And what about life as a standpoint evolution? You would need to know a lot of information in order to prepare for that, in order to teach life to be prepared for that. So that if these ones get wiped, well, these ones could move up, and then this one can fill its place after this part, and then move it over here. But again, that's still very... Ooh, it's still very delicate because it depends if it gets hit by something else, and then there's multiple bombardment which causes the most amount of destruction and can cause that's total extinction. There is extinction is where a certain species goes extinct. Total extinction, and then there's mass extinction. Mass extinction is where lots of things, lots of life forms go extinct. Total extinction is where everything on the planet dies. Intelligent and not. Everything that dies from there, that is total extinction. That is where everything is annihilated. Mm-hmm. And there is no chance for it to... There may be, but the chances are, depending on how old the body that has got the life on it is going to go on for, and then that's about stability from the start. How old is the star? Is it more to the end of the star's life? If it is, and you reach total extinction, chances are the time that it would take for that to all evolve and clump together again probably won't happen then. Then it's about the time frame, which then when that explodes, some of it's gobbled up, some of it's destroyed, and some of it lands and rendezvous on certain planets with nothing else that it can really build upon. Mm-hmm. It lands and gets lucky and lands on other areas. Then it may start to come together again. Now, depending on how old that star system is, how young, if it falls into a nebula, that's beautiful. It's got enough time to begin shaping and evolving. And then it's got to be right on factors of conditions. Mm-hmm. So then whatever is in control of the universe might have already put some things in place just in case that happens. So that this does rendezvous with a certain planet that's good enough to support it. Yeah. Or at least give it a very good chance. So, yeah, never worry about that. It's always in good, capable hands there. But yeah, so the only way to really sort of get past that is if you're in this. Because you can move this. This can move. Mm-hmm. And then if you've seen something pop, that's enough to calculate where that has gone. And then you have to watch a lot of stars in order to see the way that they explode. Mm-hmm. Watching them from the Earth, sort of all right. Mm-hmm. You get a rough idea, but you don't get the whole picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then if you see them explode from multiple angles, that's when you get a better idea of what's going on and how big those chunks are. Oh, yes. And then that gives you a pattern so that when you relay this into a computer, and depending on how much your computers have been... the evolution of computers is now a new life form, whether you like it or not, and it will grow the more it understands. And at the moment, it can only configure what a star can do from long distances based on laboratory experiments. But again, it's not... Again, it's another piece to a puzzle versus the piece of the puzzle was watching it. Yeah. And then getting up close and personal to it might change. Well, this is similar. This is a little bit here. And then what we thought here, maybe we should amplify that by about 5,000, maybe 100,000. a million, and the chunks get bigger and bigger each time, and then then you really start to get some knowledge. Then you can put this into a database, which then updates the computer, and then it's more accurate at predicting.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it's able to predict that from long distance, then it should automatically, after time, be able to adjust you slowly. Because if you're going very fast, stopping and maneuvering very quickly become very big problems. No amount of spacesuits are ever going to protect you from that.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to evolve to it, though. That's the thing. A bit like people that dive in water and then come back up, dive in water and come back up. The same to be said with mountains. If people live on mountains higher up, then the pressure is less. But if they're born there, their bodies will begin to change. And then after a few lipses of evolution will kick in after a few generations. Yeah, then which one is capable of experiencing more inertia out of the two? And then if you've been in space for a bit, and you've lost your bone mass, it's gone. And let's say if it's all been replaced. What can you take in inertia then? With nothing to push into. A bit like an octopus can squeeze through small gaps. I mean, it seems nigh on impossible, but could humans do that? Well, do you reckon could they evolve to do that? What if they've been in space for long periods of time? Do you reckon they can push themselves through a... Do they require two hearts? In order to be able to get the better blood flowing round? Does the stomach change? Yeah, it's very interesting. And not all life forms eat in the same way. They don't see in the same way. And they also do not breathe in the same way. Can you imagine that, being present in an atmosphere and not needing to breathe? As long as you are present in that, that's enough for the... Just by moving and... Could you imagine that, never needing to breathe? That'd be quite a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Hard for you to think about it. Again, it falls into this ratio here, and until you see it, and then you see it, and then you study it, then you understand it, and then you're like, oh, fucking hell. That's very good. And then if you see a being with no eyes and they can see just as clearly, again, that fills something else in for you. Then it helps you understand, and then you'll be able to understand a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more. And then when you think that's it, someone else goes along and it's like, well, that's just a small piece to this. Thinking outside of that is very difficult to do so because you're so gripped in this human vessel. One that does do this in a very weird way is geese. Certain type of geese, can't remember which ones they are now, and ants as well. They can detect hotspots. Ants can. Ants are less likely to be burnt by microwave energy, which is fascinating. And then there's extremophiles cockroaches can cope with certain amounts of radiation. They have a limit. But that's already a shift in... fish breathe, but not in the same way that we understand breathing. Do you see already on the planet that's already indicating? And if it's that diverse on your Earth, think about how much more diverse it can be on or in other worlds. And then would you recognize life? That's the next... What would you be looking for? Oh yeah, that would be an interesting thing. And interesting. But yeah, I'm going to leave this one here because this one kind of got a bit off topic here a little bit. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to cover. So yeah, as opposed to asking the question of if it's been done here, has anything come here and planted a few things, put in a few moons or whatever else it may have done, and we just class it as natural, but it's actually anything but. In order to stop that scaring you, ask the question in a different way. Would we do that? And then you'll start to understand, well, yes, I would. Do you notice how it turns off your fear response? It empowers you as opposed to disempower. It creates focus, and you're able to ask the question in a different way, which bypasses the fear mechanism. For me, it doesn't really matter either way. I can let it go through the fear mechanism, or I can let it go through that way. But I just got to ask the question because I know that some people find it really difficult to do that. And then it causes a problem because they might think then that you might be something to do with it, and then we should kill it. Right? You get what I mean? Because it causes the fear response, and fear doesn't make you think, because it creates you to go into panic mode. Panic mode then creates you're not making wise, informed decisions when you're in that fight or flight. So I can turn it off by getting you to see it, asking what you would do. And then you're like, yeah, I fucking would do that. Oh, you're fucking damn right I would. Of course, yes, we would. And it charges you, makes you feel empowered as opposed to disempowered, although it might bring you back to the question, if I would do it, then has that been done here? And then it gets you thinking better. Then it turns off that fear response. You don't need that fear response. It gets in the way a lot of the time. And you don't make very good decisions when you're under it either. Do you get when you can panic? Oh shit, fuck, oh, paranoid. I'm going to cry about it. Maybe I'll pray to an alien. Yeah, I just don't think that's going to work, you know. And then if it sees that you're maneuvering towards a different, then it's not going to feel fearful. If you saw life forms and asked the question in a different way, if you saw other life forms come together and were like, it starts heating up towards something, and then they're like, you know what, we think we're going to go for this. I think that makes a lot of things sort of, chill out. And it's like, they relaxed down. So at the moment, humanity knows how to blow each other up. Fuck me, we've been doing it for how many years? How do we know how to do it? I think we've finited it. Fucking A++. If there was anything higher than an A, I'd give it you. That's what we know how to do. We know how to destroy one another. That's what we know how to do really fucking well. So, Terry, yes, God. What did you think about Earth? Well, I learned how to fucking annihilate humans. You did? Yes, I fucking did. Well, how did it make you feel? You know how it made me feel, you son of a bitch bastard. Right? Do you get what I mean? It's like, what do we say to God? And I mean God is in divine, by the way, but call it whatever you want, I don't care. That's up to you. Label it whatever makes you feel good. What turns off the fear, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't fear it. Why would I? Why would you? Seems weird, but yeah, still. Yeah, so God, this is what we knew how to do. What else did you know how to do? I knew how to empower people. Actually, when I meant people, I meant certain people. I also know how to dominate people. I know how to play fucking mind games with people, like fucking massive ones, to the point where I destroy them and then I offer them some tablets for the very fuck up that I created. You do? I fucking do. I know how to make covert lobotomies. You do? I fucking do. I also know how to shrug responsibility for the way depressing everything is. Oh, you do? How do you do that? It's your problem. I also know how to not take responsibility for anything that fucks up. Just weave it into future generations. Are you alright there, God? Do you need a handkerchief? Why are you crying? My children. I mean, seriously, that would be something. Eesh. Oof. I know how to be selfish. Think of myself. I know how to not allow people to have opportunities equally. I know how to give people education that says you are only allowed to pick things out of this basket. Anything else outside of it? No. Anything else out of here? It's a no. And then I can tell you that that is a life that you are to have. Yeah. I also understood that I was limited to what I could do inside the planet, whilst other people who had money or had come from certain backgrounds were allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted. All for the sake of peace, although peace is not a word I would use. Anyway, so still, to see that's one version of humanity, was really good. Now let's see the other side of it. Empowering one another, making it possible, lifting each other up, getting lots of resources so that there's equal opportunity for everybody. You know, fucking hell, push it open. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I am gonna leave it there. I'm not in it today. I really ain't.
No, why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Just not today. I was just gonna have a little sort of break from all of this today, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fuck it, that'll do.
Okay.